Hello, welcome to Osborn Fishing. I'm Barry Osborn, and this is the Art of Fishing for Records, Part 2, Why Fish for Records. Personally, I like to fish for records for several reasons. First of all, it's fun, challenging, and exciting. Just the other day, I hooked a largemouth bass, and since I was fishing without a reel, I realized that if I could land that bass, it would be a Texas State and Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame world record. So when I did land the bass, it was very exciting. Another reason that I do like to fish for records is the friendly competition. In one case, a friend of mine, we went back and forth on water body records on a particular lake, and I ended up catching a 25-pound carp that ended up being the water body record for the lake, just because we were in friendly competition. Also, setting goals is an important reason that I fish for records. And along with that comes travel. What I found is sometimes if you'll travel just a short distance, you can find a fish species that has a record available and you can catch that record. Like for example, I drove about 7 hours to catch a king mackerel on a fly rod, which ended up being the Texas state record king mackerel on a fly rod. Documentation is another important reason to catch records. You can actually go back and look at your records that have been set for years to come and see exactly how big the fish was and how much it weighed and how long it was, which is a really nice thing. That information is also used by biologists to regulate and manage fish species. So your record is actually part of the scientific data that is used for particular lakes once you set a record. Setting records also allows you to improve your skills for fishing as well as your skills about biology of the fish. When you catch a record, you need to know what species of fish that you're catching. And also if you're catching records, you're going to be fishing typically for more than one species of fish. Recognition is another good reason to set records. If you catch a big fish, papers, magazines, and even the TV are often interested in publishing your record and giving you some recognition. Sometimes the recognition is permanent. For example, my wife was the first female angler in the state of Texas to receive both the freshwater and saltwater elite angler awards. And she'll always be able to say that that was the case. Now, besides your own records, you can also help other anglers set records. And that's one of the really fun things that I do. Numerous times I've seen an angler catch a fish that I knew was a record, and they had no idea that they had just caught a record fish. In some cases, those have even been state records or world records. So it's a lot of fun if you understand records to help other anglers. This is especially fun if you're dealing with junior anglers or kids. Because once they get a record, that is something that they can always have and look back on even 40 or 50 years later and remember catching that fish. So I hope you enjoyed this video series so far. If you're interested, you can subscribe to my YouTube. I'm going to be putting out some additional parts, and those parts are going to be more about the nuts and bolts of catching records. So those will be coming up next, and hopefully you'll enjoy those. See you later.